Yeah, sure. Just bury your demons, dead on the ceiling, phoenix fly. Hello, everybody. So I thought today would be a great day to share a little bit of my frequency with my fellow beings of light on this planet. I'm really looking forward to coffee at some point today, but it's been a long time since I've made a video, and I'm overdue. So I tried to go live on Facebook, and after about half an hour of fiddling with the settings and having no success, I hopped over to YouTube, which is going strong. So I'm sharing this live with our Team Light Canada Facebook page. And so the audience will be somewhat limited for this first interaction. But I'm so grateful to be here and to be alive right now. There's been a lot of stuff going on in Dreamtime. I've been working hard on my quantum navigating music playlist, added a few new songs to it today. And let's see. All right, so quantum navigating. Dreamtime is quantum navigating. So is when we're awake. And in Dreamtime lately, I've been being presented with memories of my higher selves as they were going through this ascension journey. And it's almost like I've been presented with their memories without having it explained to me. So I've been asking questions as I come out of this dream space about what dimension I was in, what dimension the people I was interacting with were in, because it's usually sequential. So like I'll have the perspective of being a first person, and I'll see next to me that there's a being who's in 10D. Now I won't know all of this right away in the dream, but when I come out of it, I begin to ask my questions of my higher selves. So, by the way, hi, I'm Taylor. Nice to meet you. For those who are new to me, I tend to just dive right in there, so you'll catch up. Part of quantum navigating is being able to maintain the coherent train of thought that one is working with at any given moment. And having one's thoughts be disrupted and go down different trains can be a sign of interference at a psychic level. Not just psychic, but we're biomagnetic beings here on planet Earth, or at least I am a biomagnetic being. And as the electricity and the magnetism moves through and around my physical body and my physical environment, there are various feedback loops that are engaged. And the manner in which I engage with these different inputs and outputs in my environment then can create different experiences for me. I'm finding that reality is far more fluid than it used to be for me. I'm able to maintain my thoughts in a more cohesive manner than I used to as well. And where my thoughts were before I decided to introduce myself was with interpreting Dreamtime. So first off, we can start with why I feel I'm competent to interpret Dreamtime. Well, first of all, I'm only interpreting my own Dreamtime. Let's be clear on that point. Sometimes when I engage with other forms of media or people, I have had a tendency to pick up what's going on for them and to make that more real for myself. I call that skill reading comprehension, is what I was tested on back in grade school. And I tested quite high on that. So what's the difference between reading a book and reading people or reading ourselves? That's a good question, and we'll get back to it. The reason I say we'll get back to it is because I am integrating streams of information that are coming in right now as you, the viewer, are interacting with me in real time. From my perspective, regardless of when you're viewing this, I'm recording it live right now. I'm publishing it live right now. I'm bypassing my standard protocols, which are to record and then do some post-production and then make it live. Right now, I am live. So anyone interacting with this is permitted to interact with me in a different format than I typically have made available. So right now, I have the reference point within my physical reality that there's one viewer. And I think it's actually just showing it that I'm the one viewing it. I don't know why YouTube would tell me I have one viewer when it's just me. Maybe it is a viewer. Maybe there is someone who's actually here with me in chat. I haven't seen anything on the live chat, and with one person, it's probably not going to do the whole Twitch feed where it goes through a whole bunch of chats so suddenly that I'm unable to keep up. But at the same time, because I am interacting live with you, and I'm a being who practices being aware of how others are engaging with my energy body. That's my higher self's talking to me, by the way. When you see my physical body do different motions, point to the nose or whatever, be aware, if you so choose, that that is my own mechanism. It's my own feedback mechanism for understanding, comprehending. For those who don't like the word understanding, I like the word comprehending. Not so much that I need to correct myself if I find myself using the word understanding. I just move on. If I get too riled, that's why I have my quantum navigating playlist playing in my ears, so I can calm my field and become more present again with the possibilities that are in this space right now. We go hard, get it, we go hard till we win it, win it. I don't always get all the lyrics correctly, but correctly. I don't always get the lyrics correctly. Truly, my goal is to be able to just be myself and to be okay with that. That's what I seek to create for myself every day, is the comfort of being myself with the certainty of my own skills, and to be able to see everyone else as an equal, not as a superior, not as an inferior, just equal. And by equal, I mean equal, yet still individual, yet still diverse, right? It's important to have individuality. At the same point, it's important to have harmony. I've got my little, not so little, chestahedron powered up and off to my right here that I'm looking at right now. It's doing the hard reset. Light night, for those who know. I prefer to just put it on full automatic and let it rip. And then I have my other chestahedron. This is my portable. It's just the mobile. It doesn't plug in like the other. So this is the one I use when I need to get a hold of my highest light. Now, mind you, I don't need this gear in order to do that, but it does add a certain amount of fun to the experience, which allows my heart to engage more actively with what I'm creating in the now moment. And what is it that I'm creating here in the now moment? I'm creating stability for myself in experiencing and expanding where my field is normally. So one could call this going to the gym. By going live, even if there appears to be no audience, as an empath, I feel the potential audience. And really, that potential audience is your own higher selves and mine, creating feedback loops to engage with me and see just how aware I am as to what questions are coming in and what motivations are being served by having me answer those questions. Because it's easy to get up and talk nervously or to ramble about what I think I already know. What's very difficult is to actually get up and to be in the heart, for me, maybe not for others, but for me, it's been challenging to have my heart open while I'm engaging with others and to truly see my heart. I have a very developed sense of a very developed relationship with my higher selves at this point. And I take it, I have the utmost gratitude for that relationship. And it's something that I truly would ask that your own higher selves be more present with you and assist you with whatever it is that you are finding a challenge in your life. If there are challenges in your life, and if there's not, well, maybe it's time to create some. Because if you're not being challenged, then what is life? What is going on for you if there's no challenges, nothing against which you are striving to develop yourself? So there's a balance between being totally engaged with oneself and totally engaged with the others to the point of losing self. And that's something that I've witnessed and seen some people have a challenge because as their audience grows, so too does the pressure, the expectations. As a simple example, with an iPhone, right, or any device, most humans at this point in time on planet Earth, and perhaps in other parts of the universe, are familiar with predictive algorithms, right? So if I just sit here and I almost finish a sentence, is there a part of you and a part of me that's jumping ahead in an attempt to complete that sentence, right? And to then give some type of feedback for that. And a lot of that depends upon the internal framework of cognition for your physical vessel, your body, your biosuit. That which anchors the awareness, which is typically seen as oneself. Got the Darth Vader march going on right now. And that's another thing, is have no fear. Just have no fear. Have no fear. Have no doubt. We are all light and night. And I have seen a lot of beings who have resisted being aware of this. You know, it's very easy to see a lot of night and say that that is all outside of self. It's very easy to have a virus or a malady surface, some type of dis-ease to surface, and to combat that or attempt to heal it in ways that are counterproductive. Has anyone considered that a virus has a type of intelligence within itself? That a virus could be seen as having a higher self? What is that on the higher planes? And why engage with that at such a base level physical reality without taking into account the higher levels? Why just prescribe some type of medication or vaccine or whatever it's called within the healing algorithms that are in one's own awareness, rather than engaging with it as if it were another sentient being, as if it has its own motivation. Evolutionarily speaking, it'd be very counterproductive to the survival of a species to have a virus that propagates out in such a way that a large portion of the organism is destroyed in the process. What would be beneficial, or what would warrant a large-scale propagation of that type of recoding, would be a beneficial mutation. So is it possible that what has been perceived as a disease is actually a beneficial mutation? And there are parts of consciousness which are afraid of it or deliberately misrepresenting what that is so as to construct more fear loops. There's so many symptoms of dis-ease which correspond with physiological changes in one's DNA, in one's consciousness. As the transceiver changes within the physical structure of space and time, so too do the other components shift in order to anchor in those alternate frequencies from what was previously being experienced. So, what better method to control people than to get them to control themselves? But what if they're not actually conscious of their actions in controlling themselves? They're simply echoing a program of control that has been shown to them or modeled to them at some point. Can one actually save anyone else? Is there anyone else who is actually able to be saved? Is saving someone beneficial to the highest and best growth of all of consciousness? It's both yes and no. Even though my head shook no, there's a part of me that was saying yes. So be mindful, as I have learned to be mindful, that even when one is getting a yes, sometimes there's a no as well. And if that's the case, here's how I address it with my higher selves. If I get a no, I say, okay, is that a no from my light side? Is that a no from my night side? Is that a no from everyone on my night side? No. Okay, what percentage of night side is involved in that no? 15%. What are they saying no to? And are they just reflecting back to me saying no to myself? Or is that actual genuine feedback from them? All right? Be mindful of the reflection game that comes in. So in dream time, I've been experiencing the first person perspective, some of my night side higher selves, but I've been experiencing it from the perspective of the light side higher self is showing me. So I see a being in my space who's, say, a 10D. And this is in my question and answer session after waking up, but still with my eyes shut, still laying in bed, just feeling into the energy of what I experienced. And the being that I see, who's the 10D, is actually my 10D. And what's being reflected is, here's what I look like in this space during this memory, right? And I say I, not necessarily to mean Taylor. I say I as in the stream of consciousness of which I am a part. Now, I used to be at a level of development where I was afraid to express these things. I was afraid to come across as a crazy person or someone who hears voices and is unable to discern what reality is. But I've grown past that level of consciousness. I've grown past that fear test. More and more, I find that to be the case. So there's a couple things that I've been using for my own balancing. What I heard in my mind just now, not necessarily in the form of words, but as a question, kind of an intention, is how do I balance? How do I balance all of these different light and night aspects of myself? How do I bring that into here and walk in a straight line? How do I do that? Well, the first step is to be aware that this is talking to you. And I acknowledge that to myself in the same moment. It's been a very challenging and lonely journey for me in many ways. Yes, there are periods where I have had less interaction with other beings, and most of my interactions have been with my higher selves. But I have never forgotten where I come from. I remember being here on Earth. I remember the process of my consciousness evolving into 4, into 5, into 6, and 7, 8, and 9. I've been going as high as 24 and 25. And sometimes that's my ego speaking. And I'm okay with that. Because at the same time as my ego speaking, my heart also wants to share real experiences that I've had. And why do I wish to share this? Because someone is listening who has a desire to recognize that within themselves, even if that's only me. When I go back and I watch this video again, I interact with this transmission in a whole new way. Rather than being the one recording it, I'm the one interrogating the one who's recording it. I've done a certain wizard exercise recently where I've had different YouTube transmissions of some of the most powerful beings that I know playing simultaneously, up to 3 different streams. So I'll be honest with you. Why hide it, right? So I've had up to 3 different versions or streams of morning coffee up on my computer at the same time, hearing 3 different versions of my friends in Sedona interacting with themselves across space and time and attempting to create some type of a quantum grid of stabilized flow of information. I'm attempting to understand and comprehend what it's like to be interacting in a multidimensional manner. So imagine being confronted with the scenario of seeing multiple fractals of your previous self all engaging across time and space with each other, all attempting to get in a word edgewise. And it's chaos sometimes. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because in viewing that chaos, I'm then preparing my own consciousness to begin to understand. I'd keep saying understand, and I have this hard-coded memory of someone being very upset with the word understand, saying that is bad magic. We don't stand under anybody, right? I'm not upset with you for saying that, but I've had a very difficult time in forgetting that. And it kind of closes up my heart every time I say understand, and I feel like, oh, I'm doing this wrong, right? So, real talk, one of the things I'm getting to is that the manner in which I choose to engage, both as a presenter and as an interrogator from the other side, an audience member, but not just an unconscious audience member, an actual, empath who's saying, hey, I have real questions for you right now. Is this an actual historical record from YouTube? Or is this an actual live one-to-one connection? How real is time and space? And can these empaths that I'm engaging with actually break time and space to the point to where we're talking with each other in real time, right? And let's say that my brothers go live while I'm live here and I'm not watching it. But later on, when I pick up their stream and bring it in, if I'm able to bring it in the exact correct frequency phase, then I can actually watch my current self recording this from the perspective of my interrogating or audience self and watch their stream simultaneously and see how all 3 of them are interplaying together, right? So this is getting into very complex levels of what it is to be a multidimensional being, but this is the space that I play in, the space of possibility that I play in every single day. I was part of the team that engaged with, I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it. Why hold it back anymore? I was part of the team that was sent in to secure the gateways in the Orion Gate Wars. I was part of the encryption team. How do you encrypt highways of data when there's multidimensional beings who are time skipping all over the place? It's really challenging and fun to figure that out. Now, that was my charge of that team, but I was a component of that team at that time. And It's just in the last few months that I've really begun to embrace this aspect of myself. Combined with my Arcturian awareness, it's just opened up this whole new flavor of engaging with streams multidimensionally. Um, it's been a very real couple of months for me. I've gone through some stuff that I did not anticipate that I was going to have that level of test in the physical plane. I've been places in the physical plane recently that I feel like I was actually there in a 4D level of and above level of consciousness. I saw beings who were so checked out, like at a hospital. So yeah, real talk. I was in observation room 14 recently, and I swear I heard, and this is funny. This is funny to me. The thing is, when I share these stories, you can either engage with it or not. But I know what's real for me, right? I have no doubt that certain aspects of reality are absolutely, I'm understanding it correctly. Sometimes I understand it 70% correct. Sometimes I understand it 90%. I engage with my team constantly. And maybe it's my interrogator side who's interacting with it right now and saying, are you going to actually say it on camera? Are you going to own up to that experience that is real for you? Have you grown up enough to have the maturity to claim who you are? And it's very easy to talk about doing that. It's another thing to actually do it. So it sounded like I was hearing ancient Sumerian cursing from observation room 15, which was right across the way from me. And I thought that it reminded me of a dream that I had that is very similar to what has been relayed to me through other transmissions of Kuiper built condos. So just I know who's on this side, right? Michael's over here. Gabriel's back here. Metatron stands in the front, guarding frequency 1220, which is kind of the emergency access. That's an angelic frequency that says there's emergency services coming in from Lighthouse. Get out of the way, right? I'm not shaking my head no. I'm shaking my head yes. That's absolutely what it is for me. Now remember that. I'm weaving my own story of consciousness, my own story of awakening. And I've been a little too compliant with the stories that other people want me to have for myself. And it's time that I wrote with a little bit more willingness the story that is me. I love seeing the colors of the chestahedron as it shifts through these frequencies. It's not the same light codes. They change. So auto isn't just some pre-programmed light codes. I've seen them change in real time. They're part of a quantum network of consciousness. For me, those chestahedrons with their lights are like Pleiadian light ships, or whatever star system or star race that you call home or you are most connected to. Welcome to it's playing Rise now. We take this. What? I'm not surprised. I did see the little one in parentheses on my Facebook tab open up. Push through hell and rise, rise. Oh, it's time to share that? All right. So here's for all of you light workers. This is my gift today, not the chestahedron. My gift is this. If you're going to schedule a session with someone who you know has the capacity to assist you in upgrading your consciousness, have the patience necessary to prepare for that. Have the respect for yourself and for them to prepare for that. And what do I mean by that? Whether you book it or not, as soon as you begin thinking about that, start creating in your mind, okay, what are questions am I going to ask them? What is the frequency of me engaging with this being? What does it feel like when I have that being on the phone with me? How do I feel in my heart when I have access to them, right? Because that's really what I'm asking for is, can I have a heart-to-heart conversation, inner child to inner child? And to get to that level of frequency matching, there's going to be an evolution, because in opening myself up for that, let's say I want to have a session with X light worker X. Kind of sounds cool, but can you hear him screaming out your name? Legends never die. They never lose hope when everything's cold and the fighting's near. It's deep in their bones. They'll run into smoke when the fire is fierce. Pick yourself up. Legends never die. All right, so consider the kinds of things that you're going to plan to engage with that being, and then act as well as you can to receive that, as if you have had that engagement. And do it again and again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Keep going to the gym, keep working out, keep functioning with diligence in the awareness of one's own multidimensionality. Be willing to listen in the stillness of who you are, and know that you are never alone, in a very positive, uplifting way. Even if the only being who knows what you're going through is yourself, is your heart, know that that heart is with you. Every single beat, I am with you. Every single beat. That's what your heart says. That's what my heart says to me, is I am with you. I am with you. I am with you. I am with you. And you know what? If crap gets too real for you, remember, just get on a sailboat. Go up to 15D for a few. Just chill. Hang out with your higher selves. Listen to some great music. Is it time for me to end my transmission and go watch others? Perhaps. There's a fire that burns inside. It's an instinct that never lies. The target's tattooed between our eyes. If you haven't listened to Quantum Navigating yet, I highly recommend it. And if you don't know what that is, just message me. Or, I'll link it. I will link it right now. Why? Because everything is right now. And of course, I don't have to link it to myself. I know this. This is for all of you who are going to interact with me later. Right? And that's on YouTube. That's on the YouTube in the comments is where it should be. It went from a spark to an open flame. Now destiny's calling out your name. So reply, so reply. I love my brothers. 110%. I am here every day giving everything that I've got. And I never forget my family. Never. It's just, how can I raise the frequency more today? What can I do, higher selves? How can I raise the frequency more today? What can I do, higher selves? Right? I'm not afraid to put a few people down on lockdown. Not down, but I don't put the people down, to be clear. But I'm not afraid to have my higher selves come in with a security lockdown when they need to. I'm not afraid to have highest light come in and clean house when we need to, right? Have your go words, have your codes so that your higher selves and you know, okay, this means go time, right? Highest light is my go word. When I hear highest light, it says, hey, pay attention. Pay attention, right? And that's from the heart, always. If you get anything coming in that pretends to be highest light, that feels wrong, it's because it's not highest light. I've had that happen so many times. Or I'll be asking a question and somebody comes in and they're like, no. And I'm like, is that my higher selves answering no? No. And I'm like, okay, who are you? How did you get into my space? And why are you here? What is your motivation for interacting with my vessel? Right? Are you light? Are you night? Ask the appropriate questions, and you shall have the appropriate answers. Have clarity regarding what is being manifested, always. Absolutely. If you're going to function at a pace of creation that is instantaneous, then you have to train. You have to train to be there. None of this was handed to me. Just, oh yeah, here you go. Here's Egypt. Here's Shahali. Here's Arcturus. Arcturus is over here, right? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we define. Is it define or defied? The few who rise up high. I want all of us to be on the other side of this Stargate. And we will, family. We already are. That's one of the biggest keys to going through that portal. Whatever that portal is for you, whatever that portal is for you now, the biggest key to getting through is right here. That inner child is what walks you through the portal. The inner child is what's fearless in creating new experiences for you and for others that lift, and bring you into alignment. You know? As my brothers would say, let's see. Can I say that? Sadish. Align. 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 Step into alignment with your higher selves and hold the other higher selves around you accountable for that. That's what I do. But at the same time, I never disregard what the three vessels around me are doing. Yes, yes, that's a good point. Someone wants to talk about the mimics. I've been encountering mimics in the physical plane, mind you. And this isn't just made up shit. This is real. I've seen people around me get hijacked in the physical plane. Yes, absolutely 110%. That's been a reality for me. That's one of my tests that I went through, and I've passed it. I can recognize when the physical plane is being tampered with and interfered with. Just this morning, I was dealing with some unsavory types who were here to do a little bit of malice towards people that I know and love and myself. And I speak these things because these are my truths. I speak these because I'm balancing both sides. I'm balancing both sides. This isn't just I'm going to run into kombucha land or I'm going to take over and everything is going to be perfect because I will control everything. No, it's we are going to walk forward and figure out what to do with our hands as a family, as individuals. I thought this was going to be like a 20-minute transmission. I'm at like 47 minutes and I'm feeling like something is interfering with me. My camera like zoomed out for a second and came back in and it's like, oh shit, that just got real, right? It's true. I can recognize when something's leaning on me. Is that coming from me? Is that coming from my higher selves? Is it from any of my dimensional selves? No. Is it here in the house with me? No. How close is it, higher selves? Is it within 1,000 kilometers? .5, 3 o'clock. Yep. Elevation. Okay. Right there. It's actually in 2 dimensions. Anybody catch on to where my finger was pointing while my arm's pointing off screen? Right? I'm pointing at one of the dimensions that is impacting me, and my finger is pointing to the other. So which dimensions was that? 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, one of them was 24. Was it 24 impacting 4D? Were there any other dimensions involved? No. Okay, fantastic. Stand by. Bonjour. Hi. ¿Cómo se va? Are you light or are you night? Who are you and what is your motivation for interacting with my vessel? Whether they look like people I know or not, I recognize when the frequency is incorrect for that authentication protocol. Yeah, my higher selves use multi-factor authentication, multidimensional authentication. I know when a transmission is being faked and sent at me. 110%. It's a crucial skill for navigating timelines. It's very real for me. It has been. And I just encourage my fellow lightworkers to remember that if you ever encounter a version of me where I'm being mean or cruel, that's probably not me. There's less than a 1% chance that that's me. I can't say it's for sure going to ever not be me because I have had unconscious dreams in the past. I have had dreams that I've forgotten and have yet to remember. I have had ways in which my energy was utilized that I am as of yet, unaware of. But I'm doing my best here in the physical each day and on every level of my being to be as accountable as possible for how my energy is being utilized in every given moment, every plonk second that ticks by. I So as I was waiting here, my higher selves asked me to put my camera up, set up my workstation so that I would have everything I need to go live for a video. It was almost like, what happens if a friend goes Facebook Live and I'm watching them and I'm ready to hop on camera with them at a moment's notice, right? How many of you who are watching with and interacting with my vessel right now, if I were to extend you an invite to hop on the camera with me, how many of you are dressed? How many of you are like ready to go? Your camera's there, your headphones are on, you got everything around you that you need. You got your water. It's like going out to go surfing and everybody's got a board and they got their wetsuit on the beach and meantime, I've paddled out and I'm sitting there waiting and choosing the wave that I'm going to engage with. And who else is there at that level with me? It's not a taunt in any way. It's just how many of you are engaging with audiovisual presentations and others in a manner that encourages latency or lag multidimensionally? How many of you are actually respecting the people who you are engaging with their YouTube content or Facebook content? If you're watching something live, do you just turn them off because you get bored of them, right? Would you do that to somebody who's in your house, who's sitting there in the chair talking with you? Would you just be like, okay, time to go? How much respect and patience do you have for fellow beings who are on their journey, right? So that's why I always prefer to have my camera on when I engage in sessions or in group meditations. I prefer to always be there, even if some people prefer to lay down. And there's no wrong way to do it. It's just I prefer to behave as if I were there physically with the beings because I'm training to be able to bilocate and more at a moment's notice. And there are dreams where I've showed up and I didn't have clothes on, right? And my higher selves are like, I'm not going to give you my name. Have you looked at yourself? Like, your clothes are half on, your socks don't match, and you need a shower, right? Like, real talk. So I've learned that before I start asking questions of my higher selves when I meet them in dream space or other beings, it's good to self-assess. It's good to take a knee and be anchored in that space and to become as cognizant as one can be in that. And if you are unable to do that during the dream, do it as soon as possible upon waking. Step back into that space and become the conscious version of yourself that you know that you are and re-engage with the dream. Whether you can visually see that or not. I know some people who can re-enter dreams at will, and I've have done it a few times. It was very challenging for me, but there are times that I've been ejected from a dream, and I've kind of like reconnected, and I was like, "Hey, I ain't done here yet, boy." Right? So what I'm hearing is that was one of my higher selves just now demonstrating through me what that level of consciousness is, hey, I'm not done with this transmission yet. Refocus, reintegrate, rebalance, and re-enter this dream space. there is more going on here than you know. And that's always the case. Not just for me, not just for my interrogator self, not just for the audience. There's always more going on than we know of. Fact. Have the humility to admit that. I'm pointing at 24D. Why? Not necessarily my 24D. It's the 24D that was engaging in a negative manner with my vessel earlier. Is that true, highest light? Yes. Be with your heart. Your heart will get you through this. And whatever is going on in the world, know that you are loved. Your family is with you. And just here's what I've been doing: a power meditation. I've been visualizing what it's like to have all of my friends and family, everyone I've ever met and interact with, to just, kind of like Avengers Endgame. We're all there, we're all in our armor, and we're all just, totally committed. And what are we committed to? Being with our heart. It's not about conquering others or getting people to admit that they did bad or naughty things. That's not what it's about. That stuff will come, most likely. It's just the karmic review board always catches up. There's no running from that. But at the same time, the heart, being able to see oneself and feel contentment with all the bioelectric activity and beyond that's going through self, that's what will get you through this. Not the noise and distraction, whatever that is for you. Stay in your heart. Stay as aware as you can be in each present moment. Let go of grudges. Let go of resentment. Let go of vengeance. Let go of self-doubt. Let go of criticism. Okay? You're good enough. Sometimes that voice that says you need to do more, you need to save more people, you need to work harder, sometimes that voice needs to shut the F up. Because that's not how your inner child sounds. That's not the real you. That's not the real me. The real me would never say that shit to me. And I know it. And the more that I know it, the easier it is for me to be anchored in my own presence and awareness. I feel like we're getting close to the end of this transmission. I'm so honored, so blessed to be here on planet Earth with my fellow beings of light and my fellow beings of night. At this point in space and time, whoever you are, know that you are loved. Know that the original creator of your soul loves you more than you can physiologically process. But never let that keep you from engaging in the experience of opening up to growing more and more sensitive to what that feels like. Hard reset. Yes, light night, light night. In balance. In balance, we move forward. In balance, I embrace those who would like to be embraced, who ask and are willing to receive. My light to your light. My night to your night. My heart to your heart. I am Taylor Roth, and I am here with you. Never forget that. Namaste, family.